Hello and welcome. You are listening to the At Home with Faponnle podcast. This podcast is for anyone, male and female, who believes that the home is the cornerstone and foundation of a flourishing society and a better world. Here, we'll guide you through the intricate journey of building a home that's not just a physical space. Whether you are single, preparing to share your life with another, a couple cultivating a shared dream, or parents tending to the garden of their children's hearts. Every other week, we'll talk about topics like practical tips on managing family finances, creating a beautiful home, conversations on courtship, marriage, parenting, and much more. The At Home with Faponnle podcast offers a rich tapestry of inspiration and support. Join us as we explore creating homes where love resides, families thrive in wisdom, and the seeds of a brighter future are sown, just as God intended. I am your host, Ifoma Nneka Omoniyi. Hello, and welcome, my amazing listeners. How are you today? You know, that phrase, how are you today, has become like a cliche that we just answer by default and just say fine. But today on At Home with Faponnle is asking you, dear listener, how are you today? I hope you are doing well. Please just drop a comment on our YouTube channel, At Home with Faponnle podcast, and tell me how you are doing as you listen to today's episode. Today's episode is going to be wow. I know I am very expectant, and I want you to be expectant too, because I have a VIP with me today. You know, whenever I have someone special on the show, there's this anticipation I have. I come with a heart to learn and to unlearn, and to take, even if it's just one point. We are in this informative age where there is so much information, so much knowledge, but I personally make up my mind that whenever I have guests, I look for just one thing. I don't want two. Just one thing that I will hear and I will act upon. And I hope and pray that will be your posture, that will be your mindset as we have an amazing time today. Before I call up my guest, I just want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are connecting with us globally. And I say, please just get that sweet spot where you would not be distracted. If you are driving, you could listen with your hands free. Just get that position where you won't be distracted and your time will be fully maximized, because it promises to be a rewarding show. So today, my guest is also a colleague. She has been a podcaster even before I started. Yes. I got to know her. I've not met her one-on-one, but the advantage of how the world has been globalized. I met her on a forum, on a platform where there were a lot of leaders, and we were being trained. We were encouraged, to use our voice to bring change wherever we are, no matter how small. So she's also a podcast host. She'll tell us more about herself. But let me just bring her up, and I want you to give her a warm welcome to Mrs. Shirley Faponnle. You are welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. I've been looking forward to this, low-key looking forward to this. So I'm as excited as you are. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Our meeting, or our trying to connect with one another, one of the lessons I've learned, in getting this particular guest on the show today is don't give up. That was how I saw it, because I reached out to her initially and she was not really forthcoming, and I understood, because sometimes, you are in a season or a time where you are not ready, and then surprisingly, she was the one that reached out to me. That day I was really excited. Excited to the point that my children knew that something happened. And they were like, Mommy, what happened when I saw my phone? And I had to share with them because I try to carry my children along too with whatever I'm doing. I said, that's my guest that I was really looking forward to. She has agreed to come up, so we are really excited, honestly. I means no words in what I'm saying. I'm excited, and I know that at the end of today's show, it will be worth having you here. So you are welcome, Mrs.
Thank
Shirley.
you.
And I just want to
Thank
ask you,
you
like
so
I've
much.
asked my listeners, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm totally great. Very grateful.
Hmm.
Very, very grateful. Very honored to have the gift of life. So I am truly grateful for this season in my life. I've
Hmm.
decided not to answer fine anymore, but actually think about it. Yeah, I just the same way you ask and you are asking deeply.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
also answering and answering deeply to say yes, I'm great and I'm grateful.
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much for that response. So, before we get into today's conversation, I just want you to share two things that help you to relax because we live in a time where, it's like stress has become a normal thing. And many people just live on this default setting. How do you relax to make sure you don't, just get swept off into burnout and you don't show up in your best version? Or so what do you do to ease off the tension?
I had to for someone who has experienced burnout a couple of times, I had to
Mm,
devise a something that works for me, that is specific to me. So what I
mm,
do, how I relax is I love music a lot. I love music and I love dancing. And
mm,
because I know sometimes people can look at you like, why is she so excited? Why you dancing so much in public? I decide to take out time in private to actually do my dancing, to
mm,
listen to my music, to enjoy it, to look for new music. So I like gospel music. I like
mm,
some traditional music as well. So I take out time to actually search for search for
mm,
music, do that. I take out time to look for the little things that bring me joy. This is so funny. Like my favorite fruit. Do you have a favorite fruit?
mm. Yes, I do. I like
What's your
apple.
favorite fruit?
Apple.
Okay. I like coconut. It's so weird.
Mm,
So I relax by actually taking time to break the coconuts, drink the coconut water, bring out
mm,
it's so funny. I had to look for deliberate little things that bring me joy that it probably won't make sense to any other person
mm.
in my daily life. So in 24 hours, if I have coconuts in the house, I will take out that 10 to 20 minutes of just preparing and enjoying the coconut, or 5 minutes
Wow.
if I've already broken it. Yeah.
Mm,
Or if it's not a coconut day, is actually dancing
mm,
and singing out. You know how we used to sing out in the bathroom when we were children?
mm, mm,
Giving myself those moments. I'm making sure I'm deliberate, not that I'm just singing without knowing what I'm doing. Like I actually know what I'm doing. So if I'm singing the parts of this song, like I'm learning the song. So that's how I relax. That's my own way that I've discovered. And laughing as well. Taking time out with the children to enjoy their jokes and laughter, watch
mm.
their shows with them and laugh with them, ask them about their day and engage in the little thing that is funny with them and laughing and just being present in those
Mm.
little moments. That's how I relax.
Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Faponnle. She said that last one, she said she takes out time with the children to laugh with them, as in their jokes. I remember there was one day my daughter was watching a particular cartoon and she just thought that I was, as in, I didn't just walk away or I sat down and she was like, Mommy, are you watching with me? I said, yes, we are watching together. and she was like, "Mommy, are
We
you sure you
watch
enjoy?"
together. That's what I do. We watch it.
I said we will enjoy it together.
We will
So,
definitely. In
mm,
fact, my little one, I have a toddler who calls me, Mom,
mm,
Mom,
mm.
come and see this part where they have to dance or do something. I should be part. So I have to
Okay,
leave everything that I'm doing
so he
and
already knows
engage.
that
Yeah.
you like dancing. For him to be saying you should come and
Yes.
see.
Yes. Yes, he does. He knows.
Mm,
So he always calls me out, Mom. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm cooking. Turn that thing off. Come and do that dancing at that moment. Hold his hand and dance around. And
mm,
I at first used to be like, oh, but now, no, no.
mm.
If you look at your life, you think of all the memories that you've kept, aside, let's be honest, not the painful ones. Just think
Yes.
about your childhood and think about you remember one auntie that just made you laugh, that just liked you, that
Mm,
just complimented you, or you
mm,
remember a birthday party that you went to that you remember seeing maybe your mom dancing one funny dance, you
mm,
know, or
mm,
those are the moments that you remember. So I take time out to actually capture these moments, do these moments with them, because that
mm.
those might be the memories they will keep, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And that takes us to today's topic for today. And the topic is the powerful influence of a mother in the home. The powerful influence of a mother in the home. So, Mrs. Shirley, you are a wife, you are a mother, you also have a mother. So, who is a mother? Who would you say is a mother?
Okay. Uh I like the word mother. The reason why I like it is because it's not restricted to the biological meaning of it.
Hmm.
Just because you birth a child is not the only reason to call you mother. There are
Hmm.
different people, because I see a mother as a nurturer, a carer, a raiser, a provider of love, a support, a guidance, a growth enabler,
Hmm.
a developer of well-rounded individual, the one who takes responsibility also of raising the child to be a responsible individual. Now, when you think of all those things, a guide, a growth enabler, a developer, you realize that a mother is not just someone that births. There are
Hmm.
different kinds of mothers. We have mothers who nurture children. We have nurturers of friendships. We
Hmm.
have nurturers of relationships. We have nurturers of purpose. We have nurturers of dreams. We have people who come into your life and they become your mother in that aspect of your life. You
Hmm.
know, people who come into your life and they make sure your relationship with someone else works. I don't know if you've ever met someone like that. I remember
Hmm.
when I had a conversation with you telling you I lost a friend.
Yeah.
And that particular friend, I told you I lost her because she was just about to start her motherhood journey and there was complications and we lost her. But
Hmm.
as I sat down and I was going through the mourning of losing her, I realized that, oh my goodness, she's a gift. And the
Hmm.
gift she was to me was she was a nurturer of relationships, because
Hmm.
she wasn't my direct friend. She's my friend's younger sister. But every time my friend and I try to have issues, who turns up? She turns up. She says,
Hmm.
no, 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 you're best friends. And as long as I'm in the picture, this friendship will work. If I go to see my friend and my friend doesn't offer me water, she will do it. I say, don't mind. Do you understand what I mean? Like, she
Hmm.
nurtured our friendships over the almost 20 years that we've been friends. This is the role she played in our lives. So she was our mother in that aspect. So there
Hmm.
are people who come, you have an idea, and they say, oh, you're doing a podcast. Okay, I know podcast, you can do it. I listened to your podcast. I liked this part. You can improve here.
Hmm.
Oh, you've reached 1 year in the podcast. Congratulations. I see you going far. That's a mother. So
Hmm.
basically, what I'm saying is that there are people in our lives that play the roles of a mother because they come with that nurturing aspect, and they are not biological mothers. Some of them don't even have children at all, but they nurture that aspect of us. So that's the broad sense of motherhood. And the mother is also that biological mom. But as we've known in life, that there's some people who are biological mothers, but they have not been able to live out the motherhood journey, in the sense that they have not been able to give their best on that part. Do you understand? Like there are people that will call and say, oh, they're not good mothers. This mother wasn't a good mother, but she was a biological mother, but she did not fulfill that nurturing aspect. Nurturing, what is it? You put a plant on the ground, you pour water, you put things, you prune it, you take care of it, you're nurturing the plant. Not only that, a hen sits on its egg, brooding over it, taking time, sacrificing her walking up and down just to sit on that egg and give it warmth to grow. A nurturer. It's a deliberate assignment. It's not by chance. There is a growth process. There is a discipline process. There is a learning process. There is a development process. There's a sacrificial process on the motherhood journey. So that's what a mother brings, the aspects that a mother brings into the life of the child.
Wow. Motherhood is about nurturing. That is how I can summarize what Mrs. Shirley has been saying. Motherhood brings that special touch of nurturing, and you don't need to be a biological relation to the person, but once you see that there's something beyond what anybody can see about an individual, you go out of your way to encourage that person. As she was saying it, I started seeing the different people in my life that are not my biological mothers. I actually call them mom, because of how they encourage me, they correct me, they tell me that you don't give up, you can do this and things like that. So thank you for that.
And they mean it. Yes.
Right. Okay. So thank you for that response of motherhood. Yeah. So what do you want to add to that, or should we go to our next question?
I was saying that, okay. I was going to add that they mean it. That's why you know them. You can see someone who just greets you, who is just nice, but the deliberateness is what brings the motherhood into it. It is intentional. It's not by chance. There is a deliberateness to nurture, to understand that assignment in motherhood. Yes. We can go to the next question.
Okay, so as we wrap up that, as you were speaking, I just wanted to say that for our single ladies who will get in touch with this episode, please, it will be very good that you start listening and preparing yourself. And for those that just got married and you are yet to have your children, this episode is worth the listening. Please, let's listen and take the wisdom nuggets. It promises to really, really be impactful. So now that we know who a mother is, what is influence and how powerful is influence, especially as a mother?
Okay. Can I take you back to the word that you dropped for the single ladies and the mothers are waiting? Okay. I want them to, I was a mature single before I got married. And I need single ladies to understand that you're already a mother before the physical manifestation and existence of the child. You're a mother. Don't assume that, oh, I'm single, I have no, you're the one who proves, like I used that illustration I used of the auntie of your childhood, who encouraged you, who taught you things, who went out of her way to make you, that she was just pouring love on you. She was your favorite auntie, probably buying things for you. There are a lot of opportunities as a single lady to show that maternal nature in you, to show that motherhood in you. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was young, I'm the first of 5, by the way, and I had to lead my siblings, take all that responsibility, take care of them. But that didn't stop me from looking at across the road from my house. There used to be like a face me, I face you. I don't know if that's what they call it. And there was this lady, she was single, she was living with her mom, and she got pregnant and had a baby. And I remember that child, Odun, that was the girl's name, Odun. That was what they gave her. And I saw the baby and I knew the mom was young. So from time to time, I will go and greet her, and I will come and I'll buy things for the baby. And I was in secondary school, by the way.
Wow.
I was in junior secondary school. And if I had pieces of loose fabric, I will go to the tailor and make dresses for her, because I didn't want her to come out of the house when she became a toddler naked or in her pants. So I would make clothes for, and the thing fascinated the mother and the grandmother. Like they began to call Odun my daughter. My mother didn't understand the relationship. She felt, oh, maybe they jazzed my daughter. What nonsense is this, But I would bring Odu to the house. I would play. The mother would go out, I would say, you can go to the market, drop her with me. I was the one who taught the girl her first words, some nursery rhymes and all that. And this was me as in secondary school, in junior secondary school. And I found out that this was something I had carried along all my years. I always took time out to take care of children if I had the opportunity to. Volunteer in the children's church sometimes, teach the children in a fellowship sometimes, just did all those kind of things. And when I happened to relocate to London then, I was still doing the same thing with the children. It was so incredible that even the moms today, these children are now adults. Some of them have graduated. I attended their graduation, and they were like, "Auntie, why did you just like us? Why were you taking us out? You did things that people never did to us normally." And I found out that this was something I had started earlier on in my life. By the time it was time to get married, marriage wasn't coming. But immediately I got married, I took it without even knowing it. Today, I'm a mom of 3. And I can tell you categorically that it was after 6 months of my pregnancy that I discovered I was pregnant, because I wasn't planning to be pregnant. I didn't have all that. So I feel this might not be the rule that applies to everybody, but I feel that all that thing I did as a child, as a teenager, were seeds that I was sowing. That when the time came for me, I didn't have to pray. I'm honestly telling you, I didn't have to pray to have my children. I didn't know that, say, God, give me this. No, I just got married, and then I felt I had malaria, and then I went to the doctor, and then the doctor said, oh, congratulations, you're pregnant. First child, second child, I was wondering what was happening. I wasn't sure. I was sleeping too much. So I said, okay, let me go and do a blood test. I found out I was pregnant. Third child, that one was even the bad thing. People were like, you're pregnant. I said, it's not possible. You are pregnant. I said, it's just my leg. I'm just walking funny. I'm telling you, there was no morning sickness, no symptoms, no whatever. And then I found out that I was pregnant. So I feel that whole grace, that whole journey, that whole story was because of I had already started doing, being a mother before the motherhood came. So basically what I'm saying out there now is, if you're a mother in waiting, don't wait. Don't wait.
Yeah.
What would you do if your children have come? Take a child and do that for the child. If you're a single lady, don't wait. What would you do? Do you want to give scholarships? Start giving the scholarships. Start nurturing, start paying school fees, start doing what you would do if you were a mom. Take up that position, take up that responsibility, and you will be surprised how speedily the answer will come, and with ease. So that's what I have to say. I know I've rambled a lot.
No. We're enjoying this. It's all the power of the influence of a mother in a home, whether it is a physical home but it's just the main thing is that powerful influence a mother has, a woman has.
Yes.
You just remind me of a part of my book I wrote, and I said homemaking is intrinsic in every female. So you might not be married yet, but I think it is part of how God has designed us as females. That whether you are married or not, there's a special touch a woman gives to a home.
That's
Whether
true.
you
I
have
agree.
children, there is something unless you are not utilizing it. But I see that nurturing grace God has bestowed on women, and it's something that is unique to us. It's something that is unique to our gender, and I think many of us are not utilizing it very well. And Mrs. Shirley has just put another, touch to it, saying that you don't need to be married before you nurture. You can start nurturing from wherever you are. She started sowing such seeds as a young person. When she was saying it, I was smiling because I remember before I got married too, I had this children's club, and the thing was just growing and growing. I was not yet married though, I'm telling you, growing and growing. The children were coming in leaps and bounds. My parents were like, what is going on here? And I was not yet married. I didn't so when you were saying it, I was just smiling because what you were saying is really true. You have a gift as a woman. For anyone listening to us, please utilize the nurturing gift in you, and you just find out that those things that you are looking forward to, they will come speedily. In fact, look at her saying she was just sleeping and she did not know that the babies were on the way coming.
Oh,
So
and it's really, really true. From the question you asked, you talked about influence,
yeah.
and because of that nurturing nature, the mother's influence in the home,
Mm,
it's not. These are skills that if you took it to career, they will thrive because
mm,
she builds confidence.
mm,
You
mm,
build confidence in a
mm,
child. You speak highly of the children of your spouse. You
mm,
stand in the gap
mm,
as an intercessor, a
mm,
mediator. You take the position of advocacy, of support and protection as a mom, as a
mm,
mother. You're doing all that. You feel the void and you
mm,
address the needs that others may not be able to handle on their own. You
mm,
liberate with your words, and actions. I have a quote here that says it was Maya Angelou, and she was saying that her mother liberated her with her words. Her
mm,
mother, she liberated me from a society that would have me think of myself as lower than the low, the lower
mm,
of the low. But her
mm,
mother's words was what liberated her.
mm,
That's the influence that a mother has. She has the power of liberation. She has the
mm,
power of building confidence. She has the influence of creating, speaking highly. And do you know when you speak highly to your children will just replicate exactly what you do when they are with their peers.
mm, mm,
If you're an encourager, you find them, you just listen to them, they'll encourage their peers. If you
mm,
stand in the gap, if your children constantly see you as the one praying, oh, stop.
mm,
I had to tell my children that when we see an ambulance passing,
mm,
don't say, oh, noisy, oh, this. Say, God, have mercy.
mm,
Whoever they're going to meet, let them meet the person and let healing come. Whoever is on it right now, Father, please have mercy and let your life breathe. That is what I pray whenever an ambulance passes. Because one day, this is my story now. I'm going to just tell you my story.
mm,
When I had my first child, I took him
mm,
and I had a miscarriage. And I was in Scotland then, and they told me that I had a toddler in the house, so the ambulance will not come
mm.
until I have somebody to hold my child. And you know how Scotland is. You don't how UK is. Most of us don't have childcare. You don't have help in the
Yes, you're
house.
on your own.
And yes, and my husband was walking away, so it was just me and my toddler in the house. In fact, when I was bending down and I was bleeding, my
Mm,
toddler was climbing my back, thinking we were doing horsey, horsey.
mm.
He was saying horsey, horsey. Meanwhile, his mom His mom was bleeding and just going away, you know. And when I just took my phone, first of all, I had to crawl and open the front door so that help could come. So while I was on the floor there, I had to start dialing all the numbers that were on my phone, whoever could pick up on that day. That day happened to be a Wednesday midweek service. So nobody was available. Everybody was rushing to church. There was nobody that I could. So I kept on calling and calling and calling. Eventually, somebody picked. She was like, yeah, what is it? I'm on my way to church. I'm already running late. And I said, please, I'm bleeding. She was like, what did you say? I said, I'm bleeding. She was like, have you called them? I said, yes. They said that they will not come. Not that they will be outside. They will not come until I called them back to say somebody's with my child. But I was bleeding and I was out of breath. She came, I was on the floor. She held my child. She now started shout, called the ambulance. Why would you say that? Blah, blah, blah. When the ambulance eventually came to pick me up, I had to sit down in the ambulance to be revived. There was low on oxygen, low on blood, before they could take me to the hospital, which was over an hour or two.
Wow.
So after that incident, whenever I see an ambulance, I'm praying for whoever is inside. And it has now become something my children have taken upon themselves. When they see an ambulance, they say, oh God, please have mercy on whoever is inside or whoever they're going to pick up right now. We pray life into that person. Yes. So that's one of the things you do as a mother, as an intercessor, as someone that stands in the gap. Yeah.
Wow, the power of the influence of a mother in the life of anybody she comes across, and even in her home. Thank you so much, Mrs. Faponnle. So we know that we have both the positive and negative sides to our lives as mothers. We are work in progress. Now, how does a parent's parenting style, maybe permissive or authoritative style of parenting, influence a child's personality? You have shared a little of that just now, that you have inculcated into your children on how they should express empathy when they see an ambulance moving. Now, how can a mother's parenting style, if she's someone that just allows anything to go, or she's so authoritative that the children can't even express themselves, how can that influence a child's personality and behavior, knowing fully well that we are role models to our children or to whoever is under our influence?
When I think of parenting styles, I think of the first thing that comes to my mind is your direct parenting, your direct parents. Who are they? Because their own parenting style affects your parenting style. You will model what you know. You will bring in cultures from there. Now, when you see their parenting style, if your parents were authoritative, or if your parents struggle with regulating their emotions in the sense that they were very, very angry, temperamental, you will see that play out in your parenting style. And it will affect you. It will affect you in every way. It will affect your self-awareness. It will affect your confidence. People who had parents who were easily angered, where you say something like, oh, you're a child, get out of here, shut up. You will notice sometimes most of them turned out to be either very, very timid or very, very aggressive. They can't speak out for themselves. So they're instead of articulating what they want to say or what they need, they end up being aggressive. Like they're so short-tempered. Or they withdraw from whatever it is. They just withdraw. They don't want confrontation in any sense. So they just agree. If there was a clique, they will be the one that, did they say wear red? We'll wear red. It doesn't matter. No. Don't say anything. She said this. Oh, it's okay. So our parenting style is always influenced by our previous parents. But we have an option. We have a choice to unlearn it. We have a choice to learn it. We have a choice to relearn it. But you need to know what your parenting style is before you start to tweak it. You need to sit down. A lot of us need to sit down and think of our parents. Because a lot of things about them affect us, whether we agree or not. Their genetical setup affects us. I'm sure you're aware that they say, okay, if there's a sickness in the line of the family, whoever is next is prone to get it. You need to know all that information. From time to time, when I became more self-aware, I started visiting my parents more often. Not because I miss them, but because I had questions. I'll ask them, why did you react? Why do you react like this? You know, it was so bad that my children had to say, my daughter said to my mom, why do you like your grandchildren more than your children? My mother said, what? She said, why do you like your wait, even me, I busted She said, yeah, because when we come here, you buy things for us, you keep things for us, you don't even keep anything for you.
Oh, children.
You know when she said that, it was very, very funny. And my mom couldn't answer. My mom now realized that, wow, we're dealing with a totally different generation.
Yes.
We're dealing with those who will speak out and speak up. You know, because of that, my mom had to make a deliberate effort that every time we come around, she would say, hey, take this, take this, take this. Or I bought this, you know. She had to start adding something for me. Or she would say, oh, you like fruits. I saw this fruit. I don't know the name, but I bought it because I know you will know the name. You know, that kind of thing. And this was because I didn't have a totally... no parent is 100%.
Yeah.
My parents weren't perfect. They did what they knew how to do in their own time. But I want my children to have that generational encounter, to meet their grandparents, to love their grandparents, to enjoy the blessings of their grandparents. So I had to take out my emotions from the picture and allow my children so that they don't miss it out. So I deliberately, I have to fly my children to go and see my parents. And I do it so often that my parents wonder why. Very, very often. And when I do it, I don't just drop the children and go. I'm there listening as they're asking questions, watching all that encounter, because I chose to change my parenting style. I am prone to be who they are.
Yes.
But I decided that to change it, I have to be deliberate and be there, be present, and you know, make it different. When I was young, there are some things you can't argue with your mom. Your mom said, do this. What are you asking why for? You know, there's some things that you don't argue. But my children will ask why. And I'll tell my mom. My mom will be like, you're a child. I said, Mommy, tell them why. If you don't tell them why, they're going to keep on asking you. And when they get to school, they will whatever you say is what they will tell their friends. So just explain to them. So on the journey of relearning and, you know, relearning parenting, I'm also helping my parents unlearn certain things. So there are 3 generations learning now. My parents are unlearning that there are certain things that don't work anymore. And they didn't serve in that time. I'm learning to be a better parent by taking the wisdom of what they did and the one that I'm reading about and learning about and applying it. And my children are learning.
Yes.
Watching the interaction as it's going. Can you see what's happening here?
Yeah.
There's a learning for 3 generations because of the deliberateness of one particular generation. So that's what I don't believe in. You are an authoritarian parent. No, you are a parent who should be open to learning. I don't believe that you're a person. No, there is no one style to parenting.
It's a mix.
The best type of parenting, the best type of parent is a parent willing to learn. Willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to allow themselves admit that there was a mistake somewhere and it can be
Mm.
corrected.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. This is really something worth sitting down to ponder about, because the summary of our lives and our parenting with our children and this powerful influence. Now, we are taking our time to talk about how powerful the influence of a mother is in celebration of Mother's Day, which happens to be this weekend. That's why we are taking time to talk about how powerful our influence is as women, as mothers, wherever we find ourselves. We should know that if we are ready to learn and unlearn, or unlearn and then learn the new things, we are not just doing ourselves good, but we are doing even the previous generation and the next one a lot of good. Because if we do not add this intentionality that Mrs. Faponnle is saying, it means we'll just be going round the same cycle, and it will continue like that, so that we do not groom children that will not be different from what we even saw our parents doing. So this is a wake-up call to all of us women, mothers, wherever you find yourself. Don't think that our lives are just about ourselves. People are watching us, people are being influenced by our behavior, and there is no particular way. It's something that we must be flexible about and be ready to learn. Thank you so much for that response. So what role does a mother have, in creating or cultivating a child's curiosity that will lead to academic success? So you see that sometimes as parents, we feel anything intellectual or academic is not our business. It's the school's business. That's not my work. My work is pay school fees and then let the school do their work. But what do you think a mother can do to help children in their academic success and to, make them intellectually up there?
Okay. So I may not be the best person because
No,
my children are very
you already
young.
have 3 children, and I'm sure they are thriving in school. It mustn't be that they are, I don't know how to put it, but as long as you're already a mother, you were a mother before
Okay.
you were a biological mother. So that baby you talked about that you were buying things for,
Yes.
yes, you
Okay.
were already cultivating. You
I'm
still
gonna
taught the child even nursery rhymes. No, you are the best person to talk about
I am going to take it. I'm going to take it from the fact that I did over 10 years of mentoring young people. So I'm
So
going to
you
take it from
see?
that perspective. I'm going to take it from that perspective
Okay.
and say that a mother stands
Mm.
between the known and the unknown.
Mm.
That she's right in the middle there, of your own expectations. Your mother, as a mother, you stand between that unknown and unknown.
Mm.
You need to understand that role that you stand when it comes to academics. Sometimes we don't know it, but from a personal experience, and I think this experience for me, this experience I want to share is something I haven't shared on any public platform, but it was a very painful experience for me, and I'm going to share it today. My children go to private school, used to go to private school in Scotland before I took them out. And I assumed because we paid so much, I expected more from the school. Does it make sense? So
Yes.
I'm a mom, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband works abroad, so I'm the one that is mainly with the children, which is a lot of work. And I expect that the school is for me. Now, you've got to rethink that as a parent. You cannot outsource parenting. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot outsource parenting. You can outsource cooking. You can outsource cleaning. You can outsource help around the house. You can outsource transportation from one point to the other. But you cannot outsource parenting. This is why. Life has changed. things have changed. The school right now can tell if you're a good parent or not. The schools will accuse you if your children are not doing well in school, that it's your parenting fault. It's not their fault. Not only that, even the churches will tell you now that, see, check, the children spend more time in school than they spend in church. So if your child doesn't turn out well, it's not the fault of the church. So every single person is taking their hands off the parenting and saying, you as a parent, you've got to be deliberate about your parenting. So this is my story. So my children are in private school, and there's a law in the UK, which in Scotland, that you cannot smack your children.
Yeah.
Okay? Not only can you not smack your children, you cannot tell your children, I will beat you. So I will beat you is as bad as smacking them. Do you
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because culturally, as a Nigerian, if I slap you, does not mean that I slapped you. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So now the Scottish law is saying that thing you're doing is a threat. You're threatening your child, and it is as bad as smacking your child. Okay. So my children, they go to school. My daughter went to school, and I went to pick her, and when I got there, I was told I can't take my child. I can't take my children. I said, why? They said, oh, you have to go and repark. We're sorry, you can't have your children. My children that I brought to school, they are going to swimming. Please, can we go? No, can't take them until the deputy head of junior school sees you. And I said, okay, I will see the deputy head. Then they take me to the library. I'm wondering, why the library? They offered me a seat. I'm facing a camera. I'm wondering, what is going on? Now I got scared. Did my children fight? What is happening? Eventually, they called social services, and social services said, hello?
Wow.
Okay, yeah. And social services says, we're going to take your children away if in 30 minutes time you cannot provide somebody who will stay with you in the house for the weekend. This was Friday.
Wow.
I was like, I had already said, whatever it is that happened with my children didn't happen today. Do you understand what I mean? Like, why Friday? Who do I call? So this is why you must be an intercessor as a mother. This is why you must be an intercessor. This is why you have to pray for help before the time comes. So my brother happened to just relocate to my town. And that day, they said, call in 30 minutes. I knew my brother might not be available, but for some reason, I called his wife, who was studying then. And his wife just happened to be 6 minutes away from the school.
Wow.
6 minutes. So she shows up. She's wondering what's going on. I said, I don't know. They told me to call. And then the person said, yeah, for your safety. First, they were shocked that somebody could appear that fast. Because they told me that if I don't get somebody in 30 minutes time, they're taking my children to foster care.
Wow.
And because it's a weekend, they would open the case back on Monday. Nobody told me what was going on. Nobody. What is happening? Are my children safe? What is going on? Then my sister-in-law is there. She's looking at them like, what exactly is going on? But the teacher, my daughter's teacher, had been rude to me. She had told me, do I want tea? And I said, no, I don't want tea. And then she was like, this woman has never offered me anything in my life. From when I was a child. You know that thing you say, don't take anything from strangers, especially the ones that have never been nice to you. And then she was like, if you won't take it, that's your business. I was like, she's being rude. Something is not right here. So eventually, the social service started to talk to me. As they were talking to me, they found out that you sound okay. What we were told does not sound, do you understand? It does not relate, but let's keep going. They kept on, trying to pry. Then they said, okay, no problem. Since you have somebody, no problem, we'll release the children to you. So they released my children and told me not to ask my children any questions.
Wow.
Yeah. Not to ask them. My son when he saw me, he ran towards me. Mommy, what happened? We were told that you were stuck in traffic, but you were really, really late. You were lied to. You were lied to.
Wow.
Okay, so something is really, really up for them to feel comfortable to lie to you. My husband wasn't called, nothing was told. So I called my husband immediately and say, see, where you are, you have to come back into the country because they're trying to take our children away from us. My husband didn't understand who, where, what. I said, the school. What school? What school? And then the story kept going on. Let me just fast forward. We found out, that before we found out what was happening, because they came to tell us in the house, they said they had to interview the children. I was still wondering, what is going on? My children were wondering, why is my sister-in-law living in the house with us? Why can't they follow me to the shop? So they now got uncomfortable and started crying. They just had a feeling that something was going on. Okay. So what did we find out? Let me tell you what we found out. They came to the house, they came to check the house and everything. The social service says, see, we've checked, we've even interviewed the children. What the school wrote is not what they said.
Wow.
It's not what they said. Your children are happy, they're smart. They even, gave us tips to tell the school about things that they change, because the school won't listen to them. Even if they raise up their hand, they won't call them. So the children told about the school. Eventually, the social worker came to the house and told me that, listen to me, the reason why we were called was because your daughter was doing art and craft, and she used the scissors to cut her attachment, her hair. And when she did that, the teacher asked her, what does your mother do what does your mother say when she's angry? So what does your mother say when she's angry was what the teacher asked her. The teacher didn't tell me I should be the one upset that I put you in the care of my daughter. My daughter used the scissors to cut her hair. Why did that happen? Why was the scissors so sharp? That kind of thing. What does your mother say when she's angry was what the teacher asked her. And she said, oh, my mother says, if I smack you now. So she assumed that I was going to smack my daughter for cutting her hair. In fact, I was going to kill my child. For some reason, she was culturally unaware. It's attachment to even remove what she could have asked. Do you understand? Like if it was a teacher who was culturally aware, she was like, do you want to take the hair out? Do you understand what I mean? So we cutting our hair with scissors is something we do when we have attachment. It's not, but in their culture, it is self-harm when you cut your hair. So she used her own cultural imposition to put on my own child and felt the best thing to do was call social services on me. In our confusion, my husband flew in. We were trying to find out what's going on. Nobody was telling us anything. Nothing was going on. Social services were like, see, private school don't call us. But because they called us, we ran immediately and decided to do all these things. I said, but why would you take my children? They say your children are happy. How did they come to that conclusion? In the house, they could see toys on the floor. Your house needs to look like children live there. They saw all those things. They saw children's books. They saw things that proved that children lived there. So they concluded that I was a good mother. And that there was a problem with the school. And indeed, there was a problem with the school because my daughter had been coming back and she would say things like, oh, mommy, do you know that I can have a white mommy if I don't like you again? I'm like, where did that come from? You will not have a white mommy. I started doing, oh, in Jesus' name, you will not have a white mommy. Never. That kind of thing. Not knowing that the teacher had been feeding my child with things that made her not want to be at home anymore, that started causing problems. When I spoke to someone, she said, listen to me and listen very carefully. The school coached your child on what to say. You, as a parent, coach your child on what to say when they get outside, when they ask them these questions, when they say these things to them. At that point in time, I realized that I had outsourced my parenting to the school. And the school had proven to me that we can take your children.
Wow.
We can do that to you. We can indoctrinate your children against you. We can make you be the bad guy in this story. This is the child you're paying a lot for. You felt the school is an institution, not your ally. They are there to make their money. They are not there to imbibe family values into your children. They are not there to make your children excellent. I don't know where we got that from. Academic excellence has nothing to do with the school. Yeah. We've seen doctors come out of public schools.
Yes.
We've seen great people come out of public schools. It has everything to do with parental values. This incident made me realize that. I would rush, take them, drive them very early in the morning. These children will be sleepy, they'll be tired, trying to get to a private school, when I could have put them in a school close to the house, walk them in the morning, we will crack jokes, we will laugh, we will make good breakfast. There were so many things I had taken out of parenting just to tick that box of good school. Am I saying a good school is not a good school? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that don't outsource your parenting. If you put your child in a private school, get ready. One conversation during the day is not enough. Just as you pay a coach to coach you, you must be their coach. You must be there for them. And this incident, it was a wild incident. It was really crazy. It went out of proportion at some point. But it taught me something. Until today, I am grateful that it taught me that parenting is an intentional act. Motherhood is an intentional act. You cannot allow someone make your children hate you. Sit down and check, what is it that they hate about you? And how can you do that same thing if it is a value-based thing? How can you maintain that value without being hated? Do your best. God gave us these children as caretakers. If we're caring for God's children, then we will make sure that we don't mess up in any way. God cannot give you as a caretaker. You go and outsource it to an institution and you expect them to return his own children to you. And then you as caretaker will be like, hey, it was the school. No way. No thousands or millions is enough for you to throw out your parenting. Like, if I hadn't experienced that, I would not know that my children, I immediately, in fact, after having all that encounter, one of the social workers said, I'm going to take my badge off. I'm going to take off my whole social worker and I'm going to be a mother to you. Listen to me, I'm a white woman. If my daughter comes to me and tells me that, Mommy, if I like, I can have a black woman as my daughter, as my mother, and I don't want you anymore, I will cry from now to, I will not allow my child be near that place again. I will advise you, this is what and this. I took my children out of a public school, out of a private school, into a public school. I saw my children like I had never seen them before.
Wow.
Wake up in the morning, joyful, hug me, not we're rushing to, oh my goodness. You know, I could tell the difference between their laughter. I could hear them. The things that I took for granted now became the things that became deliberate. Let them argue. I want to hear their argument. Let them laugh. Let us sit down. Things that we didn't have time for because we were going to a particular place. Okay, why do we go to all these big schools? We want our children to mingle with, at the detriment of their mental health, at the detriment of their own, that's why, at the detriment of their own identity. Because you are teaching them, suppress yourself and fit in. Suppress yourself and fit in. So they are not themselves. They are the model of whatever that school is capturing them to be. Something inside them struggles. I started to read book about identity, children that went to big universities and big schools. I started reading all of them. And I found out that, oh, this thing is not today. It's not today. We have to build wholeness into our children, a sense of identity in them, a sense of strength in them. And no educational institution will do that for you. It is your parenting. The school told me it's me. I'm the one that is wrong. The school till today did not admit. They did not come out to say yes, she cut her hair in that class because they were saving the teacher. They didn't say that thing. They didn't put it in any of the statement. Instead, they were just making up stories. And I now realize this thing that they're doing has been racism, and it didn't start today. My daughter has been picked on from the very first day she got to that school. Do you know what class she was when all these things were happening to my child? Primary 1.
Wow.
Now imagine doing that to that child for 5 years. Then when that child gets into the university and sees freedom, you start to ask, what happened?
Yes.
This is not the child I brought. Meanwhile, you never took the time to know who that child is. So that's my personal story. And I've heard other people come up with their own personal stories about that. But what was important to me, or what is important to me, is what did I learn from that? I learned, one, I cannot and should not outsource my parenting. Deliberate parenting, intentional parenting helps your children's mental health, gives them a sense of identity, imbibes your values, your family values, your godly values, the values you desire for your children. You have to be intentional with it, especially as a mom. You can't allow your children from small to dislike you because you don't know how to clearly articulate what you're trying to get them to do. You can't allow them to dislike you because you cut across as lazy. You're constantly sending them around, and when they ask questions, be like, stop asking stupid questions. No, you can't do that. You can't outsource your motherhood because you don't want to grow. Go and do your homework, but you've never carried a book and given yourself assignment. You did not go for a short course and let them see you studying. You did not learn a song from scratch. Like simple things as learning a song or learning a dance step. You didn't do it. But then you want them to go and carry homework and do. And you forget that they learn by observing.
Yeah. Wow. I like the way you tackled this question. The question was, what role does a mother have in cultivating, academic success, and that intellectual curiosity in a child? And I like how you came through for this question, because somebody might just think, okay, make sure the children, but you came from a point of view stating first that we cannot outsource our parenting to the institutions, to the schools. So if you are listening, whether you are even a mother or a father, this is one notion that many of us are making a mistake about. So we just feel, if I can just get the money and put them in the school that is reigning or that is trending or that the big people go to, the children will do well. No. It's like you've caught me in my conversation. Recently, I was even telling my husband, I told him, I said, when I notice what is going on, with the educational system back at home, I found out that, the values, the quality that you are expecting, we are not really seeing it, even when you are paying so much. That's what I was telling my husband. And I concluded the statement and said, to me, this education, it is at home. That was what I told him. I said, this education it's at home. And that is how I have put my mind and say, beyond what they do in school, the real thing, the big deal, it's actually learned at home. That's my own mindset. Because there's a way you will groom your children.
Wants to open doors. An institution wants to make money. Like for my children, what I did was, once I took them out of the private school, I realized that, okay, what are the things that they do in that private school that I can add to the
Yes.
to the state school.
Mm.
So we started going to library every Thursday. We'll go to, in fact, the librarian is their best friend. They will borrow books, and I will insist that they must borrow 2 books about something that they don't know anything about. So whether it's engineering, whether it's medicine, whether it's organizing, whether it's entrepreneurship, my children are 9 and 7. So they have to borrow, or riding a bicycle, or how to make cars. They need to borrow a book on something that they don't know about. Now, no school is going to tell you that. Maybe they'll put it in the curriculum somehow or something. But I had to do that. So when we do that, we now have conversations about those odd books. What do you think about this? And what do you think about this? What is this? Okay, if I see that they are boring, like, Mom, this book is an adult book, I don't get it, I'll say, read it to me. And as they're reading it, it's so deliberate. Like, you can make your child get the best scholarships without going to the best schools. You can do that.
Yeah, yes.
When I was studying, my mom would wake me up at 2 a.m. to read till 4, just for WAEC. Do you understand? Like, started from junior WAEC. She would wake me up at that time. Today, I'm a mom that has a body clock of 4 a.m., regardless of where I am in the world. And I started wondering, why do I just wake up at this time? I realized that
it's ingrained in you already.
Exactly. Now, when she was doing it, she could not teach me anything. That was even the most annoying part. Like, she can't explain anything. So she can't explain anything to me. But she would make sure that, see, what are you doing? Question and answer. Okay, I'll wake you up. I can do this with you. She would also engage me in conversation, which is one of the strengths of my children. My mother would engage me in conversation. What she was doing was building confidence in conversations, because today, in today's world, the book is not about getting 10 A's in the school. It's about when you take your children out and there are adults there, will they be able to engage comfortably in a conversation with adults without feeling these are adults, I'm a child? Intelligent conversation, intelligible. You know how when we see them, they go for debates in school, we're like, yeah, they are smart. But when you engage your child in a conversation about whether it's politics, current affairs, entertainment, any topic, cooking, we would, even me on YouTube, instead of watching any silly thing, we watch the comedies sometimes, but not all the time. We could go and watch a video about cooking and have a conversation about the cooking method and the ingredients, and maybe we should try it. What you're doing is building confidence in your child. That is the role that you play. The school can try, but they cannot do what you will do. You have to really, really sit down in this parenting thing. I understand that we're all trying to make money. Like I told my husband, 30 minutes every day. Do times table with these children, like just 30 minutes. Watch what's going to happen. The fact that it's not just mommy, it's daddy now. They will learn it quickly.
It is well. It is well. So we as parents are the ones to lay that foundation, for our children's academic success.
Yes.
And let's get involved. Let's know what is happening. Let's not just leave the school, leave the institutions, even for their spiritual growth. Let's not leave it, to the church or wherever let's get involved, deliberately know what is going on and coach them, because that is why we are their parents. Wow, thank you, Mrs. Shirley. And now it is time for us to hear. Mrs. Shirley has so many parts to her. She's an author, she's a podcast host. That's her podcast platform. is known as the joy what vibes or so, joyful
Joy
vibes.
vibes, yeah.
Okay,
Joy
so
vibes.
she's going to tell us more about herself. So Mrs. Faponnle, please, this is the time when you tell us all as much as you can about yourself, your social media handles. I would like my listeners to connect with you. If you have books for sale, if you have programs, coaching programs, whatever you do, please, this is the time for you to, share with our listeners so that we can connect with you beyond today's episode. So the floor is yours.
This is very, very interesting because I'm one of those people that don't like talking about myself.
You have to talk about yourself.
Yeah, talk
This
about
is my
myself.
this is
Okay.
this is my way of saying thank you to my guest. This is my
Okay,
way of saying
so
thank you. So please, we want to know more about you. And I'll put her social media handles, whatever she's telling us, don't worry, it will be in the show notes so that you can click on it. But I want my guests to always have the opportunity, to sell themselves. Let me put it in that way.
yeah.
So please,
Okay.
yeah.
So I have a first degree in law.
Mm.
I can't believe I did this because I gave up on myself, but for some reason I passed. I just got a master's in creative writing and I'm still laughing at myself.
Wow.
When I had my
Congratulations.
baby, I was like, oh, I just had my baby. I don't know what to do. Let me go and enroll for a course in creative writing. It's not just writing, I can't do it.
Mm.
And I pushed my, although I told truth, it was a hard one. I didn't know it wasn't that easy. But when I saw that I made it to the end, in fact, my mother said to me, thank you for giving us a
Mm.
reason to celebrate in the house. I'm going to buy my dress. I will be there. I'll come in for graduation party. And my children are so proud of me because of that. And that's why I always say, is a motherhood gives you an opportunity for growth. Let the children see you growing as they're growing.
Mm.
So I have a master's in creative writing, and I just got a CPT, a qualification in project management.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, in January. So I'm excited about that. I'm an author of 4 books.
Okay.
I One is why you need to be deliberate about overcoming bullies. The other one is wisdom for ladies.
Mm.
Then I have Hey Bully Stop and Why
Mm.
Talent is Not Enough.
Mm.
So I'm looking forward to writing more books because I've studied
Mm.
it now, so I have to write more
Mm.
books. I was looking for a way to articulate my thoughts. I also am the founder of Bullying Recovery and Awareness. So this is a platform that helps to build confidence in
Mm.
young people and mothers and women,
Mm.
and the convener of the Mother's Day Out. As you can see, I totally love mothers. I know that the journey can be difficult. The journey can be, you can lose yourself, lose your identity, lose strength to just do something for
Mm.
yourself. So when I realized that that was the phase that I was in my life, I decided, you know what, why don't you build community? Why don't you get a
Mm.
group? There must be another woman going through this. So it started with
Mm.
one woman, then two became 22 women in the room in 2020. And
Mm.
we're going to be 5 years this year. And
Wow.
we every year the women come together. I bring coaches, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, just to do one-on-one, teachers, to come and speak to the women from time to time about women-related issues, parenting. After I had that incident, like I told you with the school, I
Mm.
realized that, oh, if I had a parenting coach, I
Mm.
wouldn't have been in this situation.
Mm.
So we got parenting involved, talk about personal branding, how you can be a mom with all
Mm.
that you do, but be able to put it together so nicely that you're proud of this journey.
Mm.
So we do Mother's Day Out. We have events every monthly. We have an event every month, virtually
Mm.
and in person in Scotland. And yes, Mother's Day Out is coming out. We also have an event on Mother's Day.
Wow.
we have
Wow.
we
Wow.
have an
Wow.
event on Mother's Day. So Mother's Day Out on Mother's Day, and we
Mm.
have our conference, we've moved it to April now, 5th of April in Scotland. We're having the Mother's Day out, where the coaches come, an opportunity for one-on-one, an opportunity to learn about money, an opportunity to engage with other women. The community is getting bigger and bigger because we're all in this together. So that's what I do. I mentor. I'm a life coach, certified by the John Maxwell team. And yeah, that's me. Doing a lot.
And she's a podcast stroke radio host. She doesn't want to say
yes,
that one.
I am a podcast stroke radio host, and looking forward to actually starting a new podcast on, on womanhood and parenting and just that journey, because we keep learning. So let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. And to wrap up, what will your 3 wisdom tips for mothers be on how they can use their influence positively in their homes and even outside their homes? Your closing words. Yes.
Okay, so my 3 tips will be this. It's escape. SKP. Escape. Okay? And it is simplicity and consistency. Number 1, you have to streamline your social overload. You don't have to be everywhere at every time. If you take simplicity, the journey will be a lot easier. But when you take a model of simplicity as a mother, you have to be consistent with it so it doesn't work alone. Number 2, you have to function and keep. What does this mean? It's that you have the lion's share in maintaining and keeping your home together. Maintain realistic expectations of yourself, of your children, of yourself as a nurturer, as a volunteer, as a healthy person, as a partner to your spouse. You have to function and keep. So you have to keep, rather. The word is keep. Been keeping your home together. So you have to keep. You have that lion's share. You have to maintain realistic expectation. So when you think of keep, you know how you keep something. You maintain it, you hide it. Think of how you're going to make it work for you. As a nurturer, you keep that. As a volunteer, you keep that. As a healthy person, as a partner, you have to maintain realistic expectations. Don't overdo it. Okay? Don't overdo it. The last one is P. And I say, plan to attack complacency. Plan. We don't like planning. I'm a very spontaneous person. I want to do it. But I've realized you cannot run away from planning. And while I am studying project management, I'm now beginning to see the reason why you must plan. You need to plan. If you don't know how to do it, get books about organizing, get books about, I'm reading a book now, The Art of Organizing Anything, An Organized Mom, The Secrets of an Organized Mom. I'm reading these books not because I don't have organizing skills, but I want to perfect that planning part of me. You cannot have it all, but you can make what you have work for you. You need to add whatever you need to add, to whatever there's some things that are already working for you. And if there are things that you need to add to those things, you must acknowledge it. You must acknowledge that and work on the things that you need to improve on. Some things are working for you right now in your life. It's not totally upside down. Look at those things and plan to keep them working. Acknowledge that they're working. And, this is working. I'm good at timing. I'm good at this. Yeah. Now, those things that are not working, you now devise a plan. See, don't be lazy. Don't be complacent. And planning is what's going to help you fight. So that's my SKP. Simplify, simplicity, simplify, keep by maintaining realistic expectation and plan and attack complacency.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Mrs. Shirley. It has been an insightful and exciting time with you today on At Home with Faponnle. We hope to see you again one of these days where you come and share something about maybe the bullying parts that you used to encourage the younger ones. Yes, we need
You
to
know,
hear that side of you one of these days.
yes. Uh, I was going to, I was hoping that we would talk about something, but I think I'll have to come back.
Yeah,
As they say, you
you
have to bring
you
me
you
back.
you have to come back because you know that even this bullying thing is not just children, no, it happens even as
No.
adults.
Yes,
Yes,
because what led
yes.
me to Mother's Day out was self-bullying.
Ah.
Motherhood brings a part to you. Motherhood brings a part to you where you self-doubt yourself. You
Mm.
doubt yourself so much, you begin to bully yourself. You stop taking
Wow.
care of yourself. You throw away
Mm.
self-care. So that area of it is what led to me saying, you know what?
Mm.
We can't keep on doing this. So with that bullying, I help mothers build confidence again back
Wow.
to continue that journey, to grow on that journey, not
Mm.
to, impose on themselves like that, to look at themselves in the mirror and be happy with it and
Mm.
see it as an opportunity for wholeness and enjoy it.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. And I come to say thank you, my amazing listeners, and happy Mother's Day to all our wonderful mothers, whether you are expecting, whether you are still single. Remember what Mrs. Shirley said, motherhood is about nurturing. It's not just biological. So happy Mother's Day to all our mothers, and may we use our powerful influence to build a beautiful society, a beautiful environment, and a wonderful home. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks for joining us this week on the At Home with Ifeno podcast. Check us out on Instagram at Ifeno17 and on YouTube at Home with Ifeno podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch every new episode and leave us a comment so we can build a strong community. See you in 2 weeks' time.